we might as well kick this one off. Game 1 for our semifinals, a best-of-7 between two of the biggest universities to ever play in CRL.
I cannot wait to see how this one develops for a number of different reasons. Not only for the sake of, I think that Northwood really are a team that come out the gates firing, but I want to see what version of Akron we see on the day. You talked about it. 5UP really is the pinnacle for this team. He is the guy that they need to focus on, and the entire team needs to focus on. But in my opinion, you need to make sure that both Bullseye and Patty are on for the day. Unfortunately, this team has been plagued by some, I'd say, underwhelming experiences from those two players. In both of the CRL championships we have had here in both the fall and in the spring, they went out in the quarterfinals in what I think many would call an upset victory against them. So if they're not on for the day, this Akron team really does struggle. But at the moment, they're looking pretty good. They've cruised through their earlier matches here in the playoffs, and now they're starting off with some offense of their own.
And this is a de facto national championship for Collegiate Rocket League as a whole. It's a huge honor. We talked to the players. They're more hyped about this, in the words of Durtho, than a world championship previously. It really feels like the skill level has leveled up just that much. And Northwood coming into the semester thinking that they are going to win every single event, in the words of Creams, and that not being even remotely true to what actually occurred. You know they want this one. So does Akron. That's an awkward sitter in front of the net with a double commit. It's not in. Here comes the counter.
How on earth did that not turn into a goal? Look, there's many questions we can ask. This one, I'm just going to leave to keep going here because we've got 90 seconds gone and still more offense for Akron. I don't think Northwood has broken out of their half, and if they have, it's been momentary at best. Even here as they try to transition downfield, Bullseye all the way back and prepared for it. Does get challenged by Creams. 5UP. Man of the hour, trying to see if he can get something started by his lonesome out at midfield. He cannot. Patty will make a challenge, and finally Northwood find a way to get some offense, maybe even the first goal. Creams with even any more boost in the tank might have been able to slice that one past. Instead, it's a shot to the side, and hockey will be denied.
An excellent stop as well. It's all about angles. Akron is a very comfortable team on defense. In fact, they do mirror Northwood in that sense. They're not really afraid to give up a lot of shots so long as they can just barely tap that one to the side or get the immediate rebound. 5UP, he's up for it. Top corner, it's still sitting in front of the net. Zanil should have this one, but here comes Patty. Another 50 into the midfield. Northwood does not have on it as 5UP, I think, woes for the catch and maybe could have done even more. Maybe that's Bullseye's job. Low shot again, will not fake out the defense.
Everything just keeps going against the net, but nothing seems to get past it right now. And this is for both teams, but really, again, it is Akron that are just continually putting offensive pressure out, maybe even off the ceiling as well. Patty, how on earth do you get that touch? No one on Northwood prepared for it, except for the veteran in himself of hockey. We didn't really mention his name coming into this matchup, but I think that everybody should pay attention. One of the most famous quotes I think we have about hockey is when you watch hockey, you watch the entire pitch, and it's beyond true. He's the anchor for this team, the man that will let both Zanil and Creams play in whatever way that they want, whether physical, aggressive, mechanical, anywhere in between, and hockey will back them up and allow them, facilitate them to have that style of play. It hasn't facilitated much here throughout the first game, though. 3 minutes gone, neither team able to find a goal thus far, but I guess this just kind of proves our point of how close these teams truly are.
And can only stay close for so long. There has to be a winner eventually. There has to be something that gives Patty spectacular touch. He's going to go for the double. It's across the line again. It's still not there. The Northwood force field is holding up, but for how much longer? They're taking a lot of damage to that shield. 5UP to the corner. Another air dribble set up. He does have options. Patty lingering, lurking, doubling. He can't quite reach it despite the reset, and Northwood will slap it to the mid yet again.
Northwood, what did you guys do before this? What deity did you pray to? What sacrifice did you make? Because how on earth have you not conceded a goal thus far? 1 minute left. It is still offense. It's another chance. 5UP looking for the 50. Will find it, but will not find a shot on target. And hockey will find a transition the other way. That one's open. Bullseye pushed up too much. And after 4 minutes of unrelenting pressure, somehow Northwood get the first goal?
Patty is a competitive eater, but he bit off a bit too much on that pass attempt. He was trying so hard to be able to get that into Bullseye, but that is the greedy play. Sometimes you just have to take an air dribble, slow things down, play for 50, because Bullseye fake challenges it. Hockey knows if you're last back and you turn away, you give me an avenue, that's going right in your net. How about this one as well? 5UP dishing. Bullseye turns away. I just don't think he believed that Northwood was going to botch that clear, but here we are yet again, where Akron is left begging in front of the net, and now still has to face a deficit, this time with under 60 seconds to go.
They have plenty of offense to be able to make this work, but something's got to give for Northwood right now. This defense just does not seem to make a mistake, and even if they do make a little bit of a weird touch, somebody's there to back them up again. This is the rotational excellence that we have seen from Northwood year after year after year, no matter the trio that they put out on the pitch. And the offensive excellence as well. That shot going to be denied, but look at the way they transition so quickly, and transition back as well. 5-up, trying to do it by his lonesome, and just might be able to if this pass works out. Bullseye to the backboard. That's a pass to Patty. Patty to the maybe back of the net. Thought for a second he'd run out of boost, but Patty P. Patterson does not miss.
But watch the lean back on this one. He knows he can't put that underneath, so he leans back just a little bit to get it on the front edge to make sure that goes down just enough. The goal explosion will gobble one up, and they know Akron was waiting for that one. Eventually, Northwood can only parry it away for so much, and therefore, they now have to play in the scarce moments of game number one. A couple seconds, maybe a winner on the board if they can get a 50. That's not going to work. Off the corner, Bullseye parries it away. Hockey, he's feeling heroic. Maybe not to his benefit.
That was a little bit of a risky play, but it will work out for Northwood as they actually get an offense of their own. Pass up to the sidewall. Patty probably going to look to see this one to the ground, and it will. 1-1. We get an overtime here in game number one and continue to just write the narrative that we've been speaking about all day. This will be one of the closest matches we have ever had in CECC history.
Especially if everyone lives up to that potential. Akron, they are land demons this semester and multiple others, but CCC, it always seems like it fades away at the last moment, particularly against Northwood. They have really been the monkey on their back throughout their CCC journeys, and therefore the backboard needs to be marked. It is not. Patty doubles up Akron game one.
They did that in the latter 2 minutes of the game. I'm going to recommend you do not take 4 minutes to warm up here in the second.
And we'll have to see as we kick off our second game. Northwood has a lot to talk about in that minute, as they will take the entire minute on broadcast and on stage. Everything kind of changes, it feels like, once you get on the stage. It's one thing to play in the pit. You're surrounded by friends and family, potentially, all your coaches and everything, but sometimes all you hear is the roar of the crowd, either it's in-game or out here in real life. So far, it seems like it's a little bit dicey in the midfield. That's exactly how Akron like it, at least. Patty already off the ceiling to kick that one back in.
Okay, all right, so Patty is going to do, as he was asked, just continually dive into offense and always do it on the ceiling as well. 30 seconds gone. It's starting off just like the first game, but similar to the first game, no matter the offense that is being dished out, Akron just can't seem to find a shot on target. Even that one going to go a little bit wide, but 5-up able to keep this one close, and Bullseye able to 50 the entire team. That's free for Patty. I have no idea how Hockey gets back to that, but I also have no idea how Bullseye got 3 50s in a row.
Well, at a certain point, you understand that if you get to a certain angle at a certain speed on some of these challenges, the defense is not going to be able to get there. Speaking of, the teammate is going to save it. Luckily, 5-up is there for the Barry. Akron's avalanche of pressure continues.
You might call that, a team save. I call that coordinated beyond belief. I have no idea how Bullseye gets that touch, but honestly, it's more props to 5-up. How do you read that? Your teammate bumps out to you, and you're like, yeah, I got the shot. Easy.
And that's sometimes why it's like, yeah, maybe that's not on purpose, but it's something that Northwood has to respect. They pre-jumped the first shot. They are nowhere close to the second one. I do not blame them. Incomprehensible when you look at those types of plays, but that's fine, because then you can just march right on back and get a finish. No one on Northwood on this one. The follow-up also blocked. The angles clean for the Zips as they're trying to protect this lead, and with a Patty clear, it will be safe at least for a bit more.
Frames out to Zanil. They have Zanil midair, and Zanil, I was gonna say, doesn't miss double touches often, only if he doesn't have any boost. Unfortunately, not enough in the tank to follow up that play, and I don't think enough to really follow up this play at all. Odd dive from Creams is not gonna be nearly timely enough. Right back in offense for Akron yet again. Good challenge from Bullseye. Great one from 5-up as well. A couple of 50s going to leave a Hockey awkward, but full tank of boost will spawn for him, and Patty will challenge him on the ceiling again. Can we get a counter for that at this point? Because I feel like Patty just keeps challenging. Maybe that time he should have at least made contact on the challenge. Opportunity lost, and all of a sudden it's Northwood who are back on offense.
We'll see Akron get a couple saves away. The biggest thing you have to notice is Patty's going off the ceiling. You might be saying, well, is that like an ego challenge? In a way, but that's how you have to play in Northwood. They can sometimes play a bit too slow, but it's methodical. If you don't shut them down, once they beat the first player, everything breaks loose. You're not able to tighten things down on defense. So therefore, I think Akron is saying, hey, trust the rotation, aggressively get on the street, and steal that boost away. There's another one coming in from Akron. Northwood's going to be left a little bit sparse here, especially with that near post bounce. Patty, you want to take a bite? Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, it's looking like the singular moment of weakness for Northwood right now is these backboard reads. Awkward from Creams, awkward from Hockey. Zanil tries to dive, but he doesn't even have the boost to get to it. Patty goes, sure, I'll take a free goal. Why not? That's another one for Akron here, and although Northwood did find the first goal of the series, since then they have been beyond quiet. That goal came at the final minute of game 1. It has been 3 minutes here, plus the overtime. I think you can do the math. They need to start scoring, and they need to do it immediately. They have the time available, but at this point, they're starting to let Akron run away with this thing. This time, though, they will not miss the read off the backboard.
It's a crucial touch from Creams, who has not really been activated in this series. He's been looking for lurks upfield, but at the right moment, it's not really occurred. Mostly, it's just been through situations like this, like a 50 to the backboard. Patty should have this first touch and the bump on the second one as that first player goes flying. Hockey tries he might. He's not getting past the first one. Another long clear. These longer clears from Akron aren't even a loss of possession. It stretches the defense. Watch how Northwood has to catch and try to bring it down, but with nothing else to do. Creams gets a bump, but there's no follow.
I'm glad we're starting to see the physicality, though. Honestly, from both teams. It's something that we said was going to be a staple for Akron, but really hasn't been thus far. I'd like to see maybe Northwood show them how it's done, or you can just flip reset over your opponent. Any more booze in the tank, and I think Creams gets to that one, but instead it is Patty who clears it to midfield, but no further. Zanil to get it to the backboard. 5-up will get in the way, and it does throw off the rotation for Northwood. They were not expecting that hard of a clear, and now all of a sudden it's back in their own end. Hockey retreating back. Patty bumping him off the play, and just going for 50s. We called him annoying, and in any other context, it would be a diss. Here, it's a compliment. This man just will not leave you alone.
Patty will even dish that one to the corner, gets a double 50. It doesn't really get the clear, but it holds it up for 5-up. Now into a newly boosted Patty into the midfield, pass one. He should get the second one as well. No deflection, but that one's going to go eerily close to the goal. A disaster in the back, but that's only half of the journey.
It feels only justified that Creams is the one that capitalizes on this. After a couple of weird reads off the backboard, he finally sees a weird read and he goes, oh, no, I know they're missing this one. I know how that feels. And he just slams that one home. Gets a goal back for Northwood here, but unfortunately, it's crunch time. 46 seconds to go. We've seen them get some last-second heroics before, but this time it's just to tie it and get us to OT.
Creams gonna have a lot of space to build into. Patty, you are left alone. A gentle flick, back post, no one there except for Zanil from the blind side. It's just that quick.
Literally immediately off a kickoff. You can see this one developing here as Creams keeps it close. Great first touch from him and great awareness from Zanil as well to just dive immediately. He takes a half second there to think about the play, to maybe try and get a better shot, and that's already getting saved out by Akron, but I think Northwood are starting to recognize that. They know Akron are going to play extremely fast on every one of these plays, and they need to be able to adapt to that. Seems like they are doing that. A couple of demos will open some space, but with under 30 to go, this is either team's ball game to win.
Really nice pre-jump from Patty. Unfortunately, he can't keep it off the ceiling. That's the only thing that allows him to keep it within his possession. However, 5-up gets one win. How about a second one? That's rolling up the sidewall for Hockey to deal with. He's a bit late to it. That should be Akron's ball. Bullseye into the corner. No double. Frantic touch. Bullseye's there. Pass down near post. 5-up of 50. He's not going to get the boost either. Zanil has a chance to end it. And in style, past the last defender. A last-second touch. And there's going to be nothing to do for Northwood except bear down for OT.
I have zero idea how Patty gets to that one, but I'm betting he's thankful that he did. Unfortunately, he might need some more heroics here. He's going to challenge on zero boost, but it's his teammate who will bail him out. Awkward touch from Zanil and will get bumped off the ball afterwards, which gives now space for 5-up to work with. Long ball straight at the net, and Zanil will barely flinch at it. Might need to flinch now, though. That's a little bit awkward. A couple of misses in a row from Northwood are going to throw them off, but they will still find an offense. Zanil, a good 50. This one straight to the ceiling. Now to the corner where Bullseye and 5-up have it, but 5-up with boost will call Bullseye off. The two of them will start the march downfield for Akron, but they will not get further than Creams, who's got a full field to air dribble, and a 50 that will go off target. Both teams getting their opportunities here in our second overtime of the series, and it feels like we're just going to keep playing in these OTs.
Watch Northwood taking laps around the field, getting all the boost, and then therefore going for the pinches. Keeps Akron's on their toe despite the fact that it's not really going out of the half. Another deflection to the middle. Who has that one? Double commit, still going to the sideline. Creams, despite the blue car, very much on our white side. And now Patty just throwing that one deep for them to deal with. The first save is there. The second one, only a deflection.
And this is a little bit awkward for everybody on the pitch. You can see 5-up trying to figure out when to make the challenge, and eventually he does, but it still leads to the backboard for Akron. Patty, does he have this read? Absolutely. Clears it to the opposite corner, and I think he's going to steal the boost, which is now going to give Akron a chance to maybe play some offense of their own. 5-up, great guard at midfield. Bullseye force the challenge here out of Hockey, and it does ricochet out middle, but nobody was expecting it to be that perfect of a pass. And that's the problem we're starting to see right now, Taco, is both of these teams are trying to play just in case if something goes wrong. Somebody's got to take a risk. Somebody's got to make a weird dive at the right time and catch a team off guard. In my opinion, it's going to be Patty. How many times have we seen him challenge off the ceiling? Maybe he'll challenge here and take the shot. It's open and in! Caster Curse. Let's call it a Caster Blessing instead this time. We already saw this today. We've been talking about this stat to pretty much anybody that'll listen to us as we continue to yap. Akron, in the very first game of their series against Fisher, it was like, I think, 3-1. It was maybe 1 goal conceded. That was at like the halfway mark. Through the next 12 and a half minutes, Akron proceeded to outscore Fisher 13-0. You do not want to let this team get hot, and unfortunately for Northwood, they've already let them do that. I'm going to say this right now, Taco. They lose this game, this series is over. Best of 7 reverse sweep on land. We have seen it a couple of times, but it is a rarity beyond compare, and you do not want to put yourself in that position.
Pay attention to Akron, how many times they will challenge a ball, not to actually hit it anywhere, except just slow down the pace. One of the most annoying things trying to get forward onto offense is when someone just dinks the ball slightly to your left or right. You have to slow down, and then you leave openings. The nice little handoff, pass middle, potentially can't get on top of it, so therefore it will go underneath. Still delayed, so Bullseye gets a piece. Attack keeps going. Patty, no double. Gonna have to leave that one for the clear as Dreams trying to chase this one down.
Unfortunately, the demo is going to make this a little bit of, I'd say, uneasy attack here for Northwood as they do march down pitch. Only player with some boost to work with is Hockey, but he's quickly challenged, and 5 up, space to work with. 1v1 versus Creams. He will make the save, and the demo afterwards will throw Akron off guard. I think Northwood get away with one there. That probably should have been a goal to the team from Ohio.
Akron's almost getting surprised by the Northwood lack of aggression on defense, is that Northwood wants to lock down the goal and not dive in, but then Akron thinks that they're going to, and then leaves it alone. Speaking of, double tap attempt, 5 up straight down on the near post, and now, how aggressive do you want to be, Patty? Going to draw out that first challenge, goes for the bump, no contact, so he's going to take the long way home and hope that his 2 teammates have everything covered on the backside.
I'm starting to get a little bit concerned by the frequency in which we are watching Northwood double commit. This is not something they usually play with. They're usually very well coordinated. Again, when you see Hockey, you see the pitch. You are not going to see anything when you get bumped out of net like that. Sayonara! 5 up to make it 1-0.
You're going to give everyone a free throw. You do not want it to be 5 up. Guaranteed, 100%. That is going in the back of your net. Poor Hockey. The recovery's great. You got to have a lot more boost than that. Download the Boost DLC to expand your boost meter today. When you're playing against Akron, it's going to be stolen a lot. Most of the time, it seems like Northwood has an answer for the first challenge, but the best teams like the Akron Zips, especially when they're playing like this, it's never about stopping the first shot. It's about stopping the 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
And then the 6th, 7th, 8th. They literally just keep going. And again, 4 minutes of just straight up offense for them in the first game. Yeah, they don't necessarily get the goals, but now they're starting to find that precision. Now they're starting to find the passing plays. Now they're starting to find the entire field for them to work with. Genuinely, it feels like Northwood are getting moments where they can control this pitch, but not really anything besides that. That's also going to be part of the problem, though. That's 3 demos in a row. Yeah, they don't get the goal, but look at how low the boost total is for almost everyone on Northwood as they just scramble to find some sort of defense.
We'll have a scoop underneath, and a bit of mixed confusion as the near post defender wanted someone to take that off. You do not want to rotate like that, but it all works out. And now a little bit of space for Zanil, taking a 50. That is a double, does not hurt 5 up at all. He's a 2's demon. He's going to draw out that first challenge. Chipped up and over. Hockey doesn't have the read. Luckily, Zanil, he's the savior for right now, but Akron continuing to swarm the net like gnats on a light.
They just do not stop, and it's this man at the forefront of almost every single attack. Patty, just, what do you do? What do you do? It's a perfect pass out center, and he gets the bump?
It's the aura of Patty right there. You can see him slow down. He goes extra high because if you want to clear that as hard as possible, it's going into me. But as soon as I can tell you hit the brake to catch that, I'm right on top of it. They're winning the 50 game. They're winning the psychological damage battles when you see all of these engagements. How hard do you want to go into these challenges? Every time Northwood decides, let's play the passive route, Akron says, bet. I trust in our rotation. I trust in the angles. And they're winning all of these individual advantages. And so therefore, if Akron keep this up, I don't think they have to change anything except maybe just go extra aggressive to end this one out, especially if they're looking for a little bit more of stat padding. Flip reset into the double. He's still got that read, but not enough pace.
I'm going to be so serious with this one. Has Patty missed a challenge? Like, literally a single one. I think every single one that he has gone for, he has at least gotten a touch. It may not be perfect, but that's not what they need. They just need him to just be that mosquito over and over and over again. He makes these challenges, forces Northwood into a retreat when they're planning on just turning it into a transition play and a counterattack downfield. It's so frustrating when you have this idea of how you want to play. You have these rotations that you have planned out over and over again through multiple months of practice, and then as soon as, actually, I'm going to take back my point. What happened here? This is the first counterattack they do get on guard, and unfortunately, I think it's 5UP who kind of give him it.
It's a good job by Hockey. No boost. He's just waiting because 5UP, unfortunately, is trying to wait for that challenge, play for that 50. But Hockey is smart enough to know that 5UP, if you're taking that air dribble, it's probably because you don't have any other option. It's probably because you only have enough boost to get to that one, so I'm going to wait it out and shoot it. Unfortunately for Akron, there was absolutely nobody back on this one. It's the issue of trying to play as aggressive as they do play. If one player misses their assignment, it really all goes out the window. And even more spooky, despite how dominant Akron has looked, it's only a 1-goal margin up until maybe that read. I love the look from Bullseye. He just played it a bit off.
I like to see Bullseye getting involved in the offense, though. That's a player they need to be alive right now, and I'm liking him getting more and more aggressive. Okay, my caster curse has literally vanished at this point. It's just blessings. I call for them to score, and they do.
Prod, we're going to have to mute Bass on some of these attacks because it's not fair enough. I'm also not anticipating that miss on the back post. I think there was a pre-jump into the save, but since the shot came in a little bit later, it goes on through, nearly uncontested. So now some maybe kickoff trickery. To the ceiling is Zanil. Boys, I feel like at that point, that's just arrogant if you think you can pull that off based on the game flow that we've witnessed.
Patty has literally challenged the ceiling every single moment of this game. Why would you ever imagine that's going to go uncontested at this point? And I honestly want to just talk about Patty exclusively for the next 30 seconds as this game ticks away. He has been disgusting. First 2 games, he gets 2 goals apiece in both of them, including the overtime winners in both of those matches. Here, the third, he goes, yeah, I don't need to be the only one scoring goals. How about I'm just the one getting the assists? Speaking of which, though, Zanil going to get a perfect assist here out of Creams. Great touch out center and a great awareness to bring them back within 1.
It's also a great job by Creams. It's very easy to shoot that on target. Instead, he plays the beat, goes around the first defender on the backboard, keeps it low enough to have an immediate follow-up. It isolates 2 defenders, makes them have to pre-jump, and it's all up to Zanil to just place it on target. And now it's up to Akron to close this game out. Northwood, you need this to prevent a best-of-7 reverse sweep required. And with a dunk like that, it's not helping your chances. But what a touch by Creams. 5UP, down to Zanil. He's chasing it, but even he is not that fast. We talked to a lot of teams and said Akron wins a lot of lands. This is not the Bluegrass Boost battle. This is not Kentucky. Are we 100% sure about that? They're not sure how this one is going to finish in Game 4. Northwood obviously still has a chance, and as I said before, Northwood is also a team that always has a way to answer back, at least not in the beginning, off the bar and out. One more deflection, but that's all they're going to get.
You could hear the heartbreak from everybody on Northwood when that goal somehow didn't go in, and if 5UP makes this one go, it would have been terrifying. Instead, they will play on from a 0-0, but for how long? We've talked about this. When Akron get into this rhythm of offense, they rarely let the team escape. This time, Creams is going to force it, though. Ceiling he goes, tries to get a touch out to the corner, and he will, and the demo will open even more space. Patty, great idea to jump immediately, but it's not going to be the end of the offense. 5UP, a good 50, and another one, and Patty will escape. Again, Akron pulling off miracles at this point. It feels like in the most dire of situations, they find one player who can at least get a wheel on the ball, and that is more than enough.
Creams. Nice touch, and I actually really like that awareness from Bullseye. He knew no one was there, and he's going to leave it for Patty to be able to get the breezy on the setup. A double commit somewhat from Northwood, as now the pass goes middle. Patty's lurking on the back post. Hockey will take his time as Patty goes for the bump on the third man. Off-ball awareness is great, but you got to get back. Nice save from 5UP. Here comes the second one. Creams out of boost, so instead, it's right back to mid.
And shockingly, the player that makes challenges, Patty off the ceiling. It seems like we've got a trend at this point, and it's one that Northwood have unfortunately not picked up on. They're still trying to get plays off the ceiling. They're still trying to get these intricate passing plays, but it feels like every single time Akron is more than prepared for it. They're not prepared to launch into an offense quite yet, though. They still just keep getting trapped in their own half, but as soon as I say it, they will launch one forward into the corner. Awkward for 2 players on Northwood, but Cream's the one to escape with it, and then leave it to Hockey. Hockey definitely did not know that he only had like a fraction of boost in his tank, and unfortunately that's probably going to end the offense here for Northwood. A good 50 to try and keep it going, but everybody on Akron not only prepared, but ready to move downfield. That shot will go against them, but again, just prepared for everything.
And right now you can see Northwood just trying to make sure they force pressure. Hockey was ball chasing across that to keep pressure high on the central pass, and yet he had no more boost. So therefore, grabbing pads, avoiding demos is one thing. They're not going to avoid that one. Allows 5-Up to march on forward and wait for Akron to get the follow-up. No boost though, which means Bullseye has to play for the angle. I don't think Patty's getting to this one. Another deflection high. Up quickly is Hockey into the ceiling with the lead block. How about Zanil and Creams combining, but they can't find the sauce. It's another one that's going to go just a little bit wide as 5-Up gets another save off both ends of the frame.
I'm sorry, my bad, 5-Up. We've been talking so much about Patty that you went, hold on, give me a second back in the spotlight. And then Bullseye's in the spotlight as well. Akron, genuine. What did you do before this match? Whom did you sacrifice? What did you do to just give you these godlike powers? These saves are immaculate. The shots are immaculate. The team play is just electric. And after all of that offense, it is Akron back on offense of their own and immediately getting demos and launching into a counterattack.
Northwood getting a bit frazzled, especially since I think they're waiting for Akron to get greedy, bite off too much, and they're not. Ever since game one where we had that breakaway goal from Hockey, we haven't really seen that from Akron. And right now, when you see Northwood trying to absorb pressure, they're caught between, well, do we play these 50s, which we've been routinely losing out of the corner, or do we try to play it a little bit slow like that? Taking a page out the playbook, Creams, I love the style, and he's going to booty tap that one in.
It felt like Creams was going to be the one to lead them to victory here. If any player on Northwood right now, just really clever play, baits out the first challenge, saves his flip so that he can direct where the 50 afterwards go, and it's not even a 50. They just kind of give it to him, he slams it on target, and finally, Northwood, after what feels like forever without them having a lead, I don't think they have had one since game one, they finally find something, but with 90 seconds to go, you know Akron are still more than capable of tying up this game.
5-Up is not going to be able to get that side boost. It actually just spawns right after, so therefore that belongs to Hockey. Through the corner, heavy deflection. That's actually going to go way over Zanil as he has to reach on back. Patty lobs one over. He might need a handoff on this one, so therefore he'll play for the 50. Bullseye, high lob, trying to just stay around the clear as 5-Up is going to hold down that final line. Take it off the pitch, and Northwood can take a deep sigh of relief, if only to bear up for the next one. From the ceiling, they're trying to get up as quickly as possible, making sure no shenanigans from Patty off the ceiling.
Yeah, that makes sense out of Hockey, out of all players. The veteranship, knowing that he needs to make that challenge at the right time, and he does. Speaking of challenge at the right time, there probably should have been a shot on target there out of Akron, but they will miss the opportunity and start all over again. 5-Up to the sidewall. He's going to take it. Pass out center, but he's actually going to bait out players. No one will bite on it, as they do know Northwood are going to be desperate to get it off their half. They do. Even give themselves more chance now for a second goal to secure this game, but 5-Up to take it away. 1v1. Great challenge by the final defender from Northwood at a crucial moment with under 30 to play. If they concede now, we surely go to an overtime.
Love that from Bullseye, the patience to wait for Hockey to be able to go past his first read. Now it's Patty trying to ready up as Bullseye off camera is going to get that steal, but not the catch. He's being hounded by Hockey. Going to play for another 50. He wins it. How about a double? How about a bump? Zanil's a bit late. That is a double as both Northwood defenders jump up for it. Nobody marking Patty, going for the reset, and Zanil will gladly spike it down. We will not be seeing a semifinal sweep. Northwood survives at least one game further.
Yeah, you survive one game, but now do it again, and again, and again.
They're not going to get this one, but Northwood, a terrifying team to get on a roll. If this next game starts with a barrage of shots from the Timberwolves, we're in for a treat.
I hope so, but honestly, at this point, Akron just gotta have the memory of a goldfish. Gotta wipe that game away, just focus on the present, and just keep it going. Unfortunately, at the present moment, things aren't really going well for them here. Immediate offense for Northwood is gonna give them the first attack, but awkward touch there. Does Hockey have this read? Somehow, some way he does, and he turns it into a perfect pass out to Cream. Unfortunately, Patty will have the read and will not let the shot go through. Definitely a revitalized version of Northwood right now, though, but they need to be careful. 5-Up is still 5-Up, and he's still going to get the first goal.
I love that from 5-Up. It's so easy to pass, but how about make the defender wait? The defender is off the wrong step. He knows he has to play the dish, but he also knows Bullseye's there. He pauses. Bullseye says, "You are all mine." Gobbles him up with a demo, and no one is going to miss that one, particularly 5-Up. We've talked about Patty in the back half. 5-Up needs to play that midfielder. He's certainly been playing the defender as he's going to get the fake kickoff into Patty, already pre-jumping. Does not work out, and maybe that's to their detriment. Creams downfield, will not be rejected.
It's a full send attitude here from Akron. I understand the play, but unfortunately, if you just don't make contact there, whether with the player or with the ball, that is a free transition for Northwood, and they've been looking for those counterattacks all series long. They finally get a free one, and they prove that, yeah, the defense of Akron has been good. When it's not there, we're going to score every time.
Go off the kickoff, Hockey with the fake. He's going to get that middle light touch, and that should be enough for Patty to land as well. Northwood somewhat backs off, and now playing under the 50. That one gets past 2. Dish pass to 3rd. Bullseye has to really think about this one. He's not going to clear it across. Well done to be able to take it back to the corner for 5-up. Try and play for that 50, or at the very least, play enforcer. A lot of bumps in front of the goal. Northwood does not want to let this escape the half.
How on earth does Zanil read that one? I'm not really sure, but he doesn't have a great air dribble as a result of it, and Bullseye will take over. He's set in the back. What can he do with it? He's going to look for the pinch, and the shot on target just barely off, but Creams has got to stretch for that one, and same with Zanil. Northwood, a quick retreat, but they don't seem all too prepared to play an extended defense, so they're not going to. Instead, they'll play out at midfield and try to get an offense going. Shot on target, though, and they will have to retreat for at least a half a second. Good bump from Patty. He's starting to remember, yeah, I do need to play physical. If I don't, we don't exactly have the winning condition in our favor.
Particularly if they don't get those reads on the near post. Patty, last second ditch effort. He's going to get that first touch and actually stay with it pretty well despite nothing in the tank. From the corner, 5-up, flipping to it. Bullseye's going to call him off, another 50, and he should recover on the clear as well. However, it will stay middle regardless of all of this. Creams lurking, open, gets bumped at the last second. Like we said, Akron, they're an annoying team to play against. That is why.
And unfortunately, the final shot does go off target, so now Akron get a free transition the other way. Awkward touch from 5-up, though. I don't think he was intending for it, but we'll make up for it with a flip reset and baiting out a player. As well as the shot on target. Creams just not anticipating the second player. You can see him flailing, but no save is found.
Creams on a leash here. He's going all the way over to the ball. Ball comes middle. He looks middle, but he doesn't turn around. You have to take a 270-degree turn so you have the angle to protect not only your near post, but the back post. The half flip doesn't come in, which means you are dead standstill, not able to speed up. It's a brutal goal to give up, but even worse that if they do not get it back in the next half a game, this series, this tournament run, this semester and year are all over for one of the best teams in Collegiate Rocket League.
And unfortunately, they've also just unleashed the beast. It has been since game 2, since we've seen Patty score. Now he's back on the board, and I think he's ready and hungry for more. He might have to wait a second, though, because 5-up's got to give him something to work with. Or maybe 5-up will just do it himself. Zanil's getting chased. Bullseye's there. Patty the rebound. The shot not on target. But I don't think it was intended to be. I think it's just more offense now that Akron can work with. As they keep it annoying. They keep it center. Bullseye makes the challenge. And Creams will come away with this one, but he's got no boost to work with.
Delayed. Musty, and then immediately gets bumped. That's actually going to be a mystery by Hockey. Open on the near side. Patty! You can't give him that window, even from the corner. A mistake like that can cost everything.
We said it before, this man likes to eat both in-game and outside, but unfortunately here, his final nibble might be the death toll for Northwood. 3-1, 2 minutes to go. If there was ever a team that can make this comeback happen, it is the Timberwolves, but they need to do it now.
5-up, he's just going to chase this one down. Hockey, you have to know that he's breathing down your neck. He's going to use up all the boost and then give it away yet again. 5-up with a bump. The red carpet is rolled out. Patty and 5-up, they're both going to go. Maybe a counterattack, but no contact. Bullseye quickly up, Creams to the side. It's desperation time from the Timberwolves. They don't really have a plan of attack because how can you? Akron's not letting you touch this read.
Back pass, though, is going to at least give them some attack to work with, but some might even be an exaggeration because look how quickly Akron are immediately out at midfield and putting back on that pressure. Hockey going to try to alleviate it with an air dribble bump of his own, and he does, but the pass out to Creams is going to go to no one afterwards. Boosted up and ready to play is Northwood, but the time ticking away. They need 2 goals in less than a minute at this point. Or maybe they could have even just a little bit extra, but no, the pinch downfield, it's not going to benefit them at all as they have to restart their offense yet again.
Patty going to fake that around, and it's not going to backfire, at least not yet. Creams backboard underneath, it's just wide. The follow through's not going to go through, off the post. Northwood is not getting any breaks. You have to earn every single goal. How about this with the leave over the bar again? Zanil denied. There's another one. Going past the goal line. Northwood will try and try and try, but I think a fist is going through the monitor.
They might be named the Timberwolves, but apparently the Timber is not in their favor. The woodwork hates them right now as everything goes off the post, the bar, the everything around the net, but never on in. And unfortunately, they will not be able to defend their title. 8 seconds to go. It is not enough time. Akron moving on to our grand finals in what I will say is probably the upset of the tournament.